Hey guys, how you doing today? Today I'm going to start talking about gender politics, gender identity politics, and what's happened in our society with them. It's something I don't really talk about on the channel on purpose. So when I do, I really do need to preface it with I think everybody should be exactly who they are, right? If you are gay, if you are black, Latino, if you are any non-binary, right? If you are any of the identity positions that you are, you should be those things, and we as a society should not judge you for them. And I just need to preface that straight away, because in this society, a straight white male, even talking about gender identity politics, gets spicy. I get a lot of heat the second I talk about it, which is why I don't like to talk about it. Because the fact that I am a straight white male is enough to get me excluded from the conversation, which really indicates and really shows you how heightened this issue has become and how politicized this issue is, and how aggressive supporters are. But in the last 40 years, the Liberal Party has been fairly clear on these issues. They support identity politics just the way that I said, right? That, no, we support people's right to be gay. We support people's right to be a minority group, to be black. We support these things as the Liberal Party. We definitely do. The difference between the Liberal Party and me is that they support your right to be homeless and I don't. So they're completely happy putting on the table to get your vote, to get your support. They're completely happy to say to you, oh, you're Black Lives Matter group. Of course, Black Lives Matter. They'll even put on their website, right? Just like every other corporation. They'll completely throw down their support for the Black Lives Matter people. They'll completely say, Black Lives Matter, right? Make sure you get to work, though. And this is the reality that we're facing, that our society has become so obsessed with self-image, right? It's become so obsessed with what you look like and who you are, that we can't even have a genuine conversation about, oh, hey, have you noticed that there's people on the street, right? Do you think those people on the street really how much do you care if these people who are living on the street, if you support their right for them to be gay, right? How much do you think the people on the street really care if you support the Black Lives Matter movement, if you support people, gender identity politics, all of this kind of stuff? Do you think the people living on the street, do you think these homeless people, do you think they'd rather you actually start to care about their material conditions, right? Do you think that maybe they would prefer it if you put their material conditions ahead of their identity, ahead of their the way that we perceive one another? And this is the liberal game, right? And it's between the liberals and the conservatives. They both do it. This identity politics, right? That conservatives gather up the people who are anti-gay, who are white supremacists, right? We see it in the Conservative Party. It's very difficult to miss. You really have to try. You really got to try. And they butt heads with the liberals, who take the position that, no, everybody should have the right to be whatever gender, whatever race, whatever they want, and they'll have the right, and they'll be able to come into any job they want. And there's diversity there, right? The liberals really tout the diversity of their cabinet. They really tout how half their cabinet is female. And all of these things are good, and I support them. But then they turn around and say, okay, great, so we've got the diversity squad. We're all set up. Everything's diverse. Hooray. We'll have a diverse array of homeless people. We'll have a diverse array of CEOs crushing people into poverty, right? And if we just accept that, if we just say to these liberals, oh, yeah, the fact that you're saying that black people should have the same rights as white people, that's enough to earn my vote. Well, then when you step over that homeless person, be sure you tell them that, right? Be sure you let them know, hey, I support your right to be diverse, while completely ignoring, your right for food and shelter. Which, isn't it odd that we live in a society, like, when I was growing up, everything was about rights and everything was about what we had the rights for and all of this, but like nobody was talking about people's rights for food, people's rights for shelter. These things had to be earned, right? Like, you had to prove that you belonged here, that if you didn't have the ability to sell yourself to the capitalist class, then it was simply assumed that the capitalists could simply abandon you. And if you weren't able to make a go of it, for whatever reason, then it was completely acceptable. Like, it's completely acceptable that a person be abandoned, that a person be left on the street, while simultaneously we're putting an incredible amount of energy into ensuring that those people who are abandoned on the street will be treated the same as straight white men when they're abandoned on the street. And nobody is willing to actually stand up. Certainly, you're never going to see a corporation actually stand up and say, oh, hey, maybe we shouldn't have homeless people, right? Where's the homeless people symbol? Where's the homeless people sign? Where's the homeless people movement, right? But the reality is that the homeless have been more or less eliminated from our political discourse, right? There's no homeless people with YouTube channels, right? They don't have access to the internet. There's no homeless people movies. There's no homeless people, like, there's a homeless channel. There's no homeless characters, right? Literally, like, the last homeless person who had any fame in this society, or the last homeless character, was Charlie Chaplin's The Tramp, almost 100 years ago, right? But the homeless have been completely silenced in our society. Simply by the economic force of their existence, right? They can't get the internet. They can't get one of these phones. No one's going to give them a phone plan. They don't have a house. Or if they do have a house and they're still begging on the street, right? They don't have the credit rating. Nobody's going to let these people speak or be heard. And even if they did have all of this equipment and all of this kind of stuff, I mean, dealing with homelessness is a real problem. It's a real struggle. And instead of actually looking at them and seeing them for what is happening, which is society abandoning the homeless, we're spending all of our time debating amongst one another whether a black homeless person should have it worse than a white homeless person, whether a gay homeless person should have it worse than a straight homeless person. We've completely eliminated from the conversation the economic concerns of the base of our society, right? And again, I'll say it again, I want gay people and black people and people of any race or gender or nationality or background to have the same rights as everyone else. I think everyone should be treated equally under the law, and I think everybody should have the same opportunities as everybody else. But I don't think that one of those opportunities should be to be homeless. And if we just keep letting the liberals get away with this identity politics game, where they pretend like they're slightly better than their conservative allies in order to garner our votes, while both parties simultaneously work to abandon us to corporations and capitalists who will walk away from us the second that there's a crisis. Take a look at what's happening right now with the COVID crisis. They'll just walk away from us. Then nothing's going to change, and it's going to get significantly worse. I shouldn't say nothing's going to change, right? The issues that we're facing are going to get significantly worse, everything that we're fighting for is going to be for nothing, right? Just like these ridiculous restrictions that don't exist and are unenforced. And we're going to be facing a real harsh reality when our children start to try to interact with this system and realize that we have essentially done nothing to secure the safety of their own future, right? Which is exactly what we've done. While we've been bickering amongst ourselves about the skin color of the homeless people and the skin color of the poor and the sexual identity of the poor, we've done absolutely nothing to ensure that the poor are safe, or that the poor are taken care of. And when the real crises begin, right, we'll just abandon these people anyway. So the conversation is all for naught. All right, guys, this will be the end of me. If you hit the little like button, that tells the YouTube robot, hey, YouTube robot, send this around to people. The number one thing I'd like you to do is share this video around. Share a video of mine around. Something that word of mouth is still the number one way, right? You're talking to your lefty friends, you're talking to your communist friends. This is a growing channel. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers because that's when YouTube starts to monetize these videos and I start to get paid from YouTube for doing these videos. My pitch on all this is if you like what I do and you want me to do it full time, that's how we do it. Because right now I'm doing these videos while simultaneously working a full-time job at a toy store. If you're really dedicated to the idea that I should be doing this full-time, my Patreon is in the description. Any little bit helps, guys. A dollar helps, right? You can flick a dollar to anybody. A dollar is nothing, right? Hit that link in the Patreon. Just donate $1 a month, right? Because if enough people donate $1 a month, then that's all it takes. And we know that our media is corrupt. We know that our media has been completely captured by a billionaire class who has politicized it in order to silence issues like this, right? The homeless and the poor have been silenced in our society. We don't see them. They don't get YouTube channels. They don't have news segments. They don't have any of this kind of stuff. So it's up to people like me. It's up to us to say, no, we need people who are willing to talk about these issues that a corrupted media is purposefully deleting from our consciousness, deleting from the conversation, is doing everything it can to eliminate from our discourse so that we will just forget about these people. That when we look at the homeless on the street, we avert our gaze instead of allowing the horror show of our society to come at us with the full force. We've got to keep fighting. We got to do better. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please join the Patreon, please do all that stuff. Hit all the bells, hit all the whistles. I love you all. I love you all. You guys are all doing great. You really are. You're doing great. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, you're doing great. And you need to keep up the good work because you are doing good work. All right. Good luck. We're going to need it.